discussion. Talk to me about the title before we even start with anything.
Okay, the Masturbating Church, a call to the truth. This title simply means the church is no more bearing fruit, which it is called to bear. And the masturbation is only an activity that is taking place but brings nothing to the table. So it is like you are masturbating because somebody who is masturbating is self-criticizing himself, and the other person or no one except himself who is getting happy, excited, and satisfaction. So that is it.
This is crazy. Do you sit down when you title your books? Did you ever come up with a different title, maybe a couple of titles, maybe 2 or 3, and then ended up just choosing this one? Or this is the only title that ever popped into your mind when you thought about the concept of the book?
You know, when I wrote my first book back in the rain, it was just a ginger. I did not really struggle to get the title because it dropped as I was thinking of writing a book. The title dropped in the mind, and after it dropped, that is when I started to tackle it by myself, trying to find out what am I going to say about this title, because the message or the content of the book should be, relate to the title. And that's how I do it. And even with the Masturbating Church, I wanted to write the book about church activities or the things that are being done in the church. So as I was pondering, trying to find out which title can I use, before I could even write down the titles, something dropped in the mind or in my spirit. This time it was in my spirit that this is where God said, this is what you need to write about, because the church currently is masturbating. They are after material things and other things. So this is the title. And I was a little bit skeptical because it is a little bit rough. It is like it's unholy. It is not church-like. So I just said, oh God, I cannot write about masturbating church. And God said, this is exactly what I want you to write about. So I took the title. And when he said, because the church is not bearing fruit, and I'm calling my church to bear fruit and stop masturbating. So I took the title. So in general, I don't really struggle to have a title, especially if it is a Christian book. So this is where I am with.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy because somebody who's reading that title, it feels like you are criticizing the church. And right now, because we are having this discussion, I'm starting to actually hear that you were actually correcting the church, or rather, you are basically calling it into order. If that's a correct way to actually phrase it. And this is a very important aspect, right? You speak about the church not being the you know the way it was supposed to be, or the way it was basically in the days of its beginning, and even in the olden days where it was actually respected. It was an institution that is really important in the society, religiously so. But nowadays we look at things that are happening within church. I mean, you look at the Human Rights Commission, their investigation of these churches, and the stuff that they use, and the money laundering stuff, and all of those things. That forms part of what you're advocating for. Is this something that has to do with a personal experience that you maybe experienced through a certain church that you attend, that you are a member of, or is this like an external point of view from just a person who is observing the way things are actually unfolding?
As for me, I don't think I went through any rough experience whereby I can say I experienced a lot. But there are some smaller things that I've experienced in the church, but they are not that much. But from where I am staying, remember, Elvis, that we are church members. We are all the body of Christ, and you cannot just sit there and say somebody will take up the stance on these matters. But we are all called. God is expecting everyone to take care of his position to make sure that the church, which is called the bride, that it is in its in good form. So I was not influenced by what I have seen. I've gone through myself, but I am still I am influenced by the things that are happening in front of my eyes, and I could not take them. I cannot stomach some of the things, and this is why I thank God. And remember again that God has made us different. See, we've got different personalities, characters, and everything. So He did everything the way He did, so that at the right moment or at the appointed time, He can touch you and say, He can wake you up and say, current mom, look what is happening in the church. And it is now time to take your position and correct the errors in the church. So it is mainly because God has touched me or quickened my spirit so that we can, come back to Him and do our mandate. We are mandated as the church to take care of the God's people and to impact their lives and to take them out of darkness and put them in the light. But we are doing the opposite. So that is it.
Interesting to hear that from you. I mean, you sound like a very vested person, into these subjects. I understand, of course, you. This is not the only book that you have written, and perhaps maybe somehow in the near future we're gonna be able to just dissect some of the books that you have written, obviously. But it's a very interesting thing to actually witness there. Um, and of course, I mean, things like the book that speaks about the Christian community and how things are actually happening right now in the world is something that is really important. Yeah. Unfortunately, I just lost her on the line. I think I've been speaking alone for some time. Okay, cool. Let's try and establish that line again, and then I will be having her on the line so that we can continue that conversation right here on Just Radio. She's going to be, of course, taking us through and giving us more details. Yeah, apologies for that. I lost you on the line, but look, let's continue that conversation. So my point was you are a big advocate, right, for these issues, especially in the Christian community. Are you receiving any criticism in terms of the stuff that you are writing about?
Sometimes I do get a lot of criticism, and people are saying you are blasphemous, you are not representing God. But once I explain everything to some, those I communicate with, and or I continue explaining, they understand and now they accept the message. But mostly I have silent critics. They don't openly say that, but you can feel that somebody is resisting the message, especially pastors. But I'm not here to make friendship. I'm sent by God and I'm called by God, and He has anointed me for this purpose. And there's no way that I will back up because somebody does not support what I am saying. Anyway, they say the truth hurts. So if the truth hurts, how can I expect people to love the message and cheer you up? And be careful that whenever people are cheering you up, that means you are doing well, this is beautiful. Actually, you are not doing well. If they are made, just be skeptical somehow because it means you are patting them on the back and they are doing everything that you are saying. But your message should always provoke others to look deep into themselves and to find how they can do the right thing, especially if they call themselves Christians. So I'm not, I'm really grown up in the Lord, and I've grown the thick skin. So whatever the person says, it may hurt sometimes, but I don't take it to heart. I quickly switch on to the kingdom, living and thinking and taking inspiration from Jesus Christ that, he walked with the disciples, but sometimes they were not even sure that he is who he says he is. So this journey is not that easy, but we need to push irrespective.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a very important point that you're making there. And, personally, I'm not a religious person, but, I totally agree and I totally, understand your point because I think it goes even outside of the religious spectrum, right? It even goes into life in general because, usually, the people who actually speak the truth and speak their own mind, they are really belittled in the world and really criticized and hated and even crucified. I mean, you look at Jesus, the story of Jesus. He was crucified by some of the people that claimed that they were with him. They couldn't defend him by the time of the crucifixion. So we understand stories like that, and stories like that are documented around the world really proves that that's how somehow the world is built and the way people are, and there's totally nothing we can do about it. The only thing that we can do is to stay true to ourselves and speak our own mind, just like you do. Yeah. So I really appreciate your work. So let's talk about the I'm not sure if you feel free to talk about this because I realize that when I speak to a couple of authors, they don't want to divulge more about their publishing process and their publishers as well. So I'm not sure if it's something that you're willing to unpack for us a little bit. Say, for instance, now you have a manuscript, it's ready, it's typed, it's in the PC, you have all the chapters. What was the next step that you took? And did you have a prior knowledge with regards to publishing?
No, I didn't have any knowledge of publishing, especially because I came into writing not because I wanted to, but I think I was pushed by circumstances. I used to I used to have money, a lot of money, so I was living like that then. So I started writing just to pour my emotions down after falling. So when I wrote my first book, I was not even sure what is the process or where to go, whom to ask, but because I had to ask a few people around and they gave me an idea. So the first book was published by a publisher, which he did surely well. So from there, I think I was a little bit now knowledgeable. I'm self-publishing myself for other books. And after doing the writing and everything, you take it for editing, of course, and from there you give somebody who can print for you. So, but there's no publisher. It is just a middleman. You find somebody to edit, and you take your edited work to somebody who can print everything. And in the ISBN, it is free on the National Library. You email them, and they give you the ISBN and the code. From there, you are done. No problem.
Hmm. This is some information that is really important because people don't even know that you know it's free to get that ISBN number, and they don't even know that you need to get it. So for a lot of authors, this information is really important. Thank you so much, Current Mama, for your time here. That I've been wondering, Current Mama is your writer's name, right? Or your writing name, and how did it come about if that's the name that you decided on?
Okay, this is the name that I have read about and I'm attached to the name, but my real name is Markle and Lesotho. I'm Lesotho from Lesotho. So this current mama name comes from Twitter. I think when Twitter entered in those years, I was the first infant. So I was the mama of Twitter because kids would come to me and ask me questions, Mama, this. So someone just responded that, oh, Mama, thank you so much for your advice. You are so current. You are cool. So I took that, Mama, you are so current. So I said, let me call myself Current Mama. And from there, I used the name. I used to work on our community radio station here in Achiltree. So the name got popular by that radio station. So, yes, this is the name that I'm using from now onwards.
This is great. Where can people get your book, bookstore wise, purchasing platforms, and how much?
The book is 350, and currently I am the only person who is selling my book. I sell it, I market it because publishers or the bookstores, if you don't have a publisher, especially a well-known publisher, they cannot take your work until I don't know when they see that you are now famous. That's when you can be able to enter their space. So I'm selling the book myself, and anyone who wants the book can talk to me. And the online services, someone is busy helping me so that it can be found on online platforms.
That would be great. I mean, considering the fact that you can sell now worldwide when you are online, and people can just purchase the book and you courier it to them. That's really lovely. And how can people reach you personally or professionally, basically, with regards to everything writing? I understand, of course, you're a ghostwriter as well. How can people get in touch with you?
Okay, I am on Twitter at Current Mommy on Twitter, and the Instagram also Current Mommy, and Mamia MOMMY. And on Facebook, I'm Current Mama, the advisor, as the account, and the Current Mama, the advisor, as the Facebook page. So people can find me there. And also on TikTok, I'm new on TikTok, and it is Current Mommy, I think. So from there, they can call me on 076 609 0427.
Great stuff. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you coming to the show. And yeah, we definitely are looking forward to just, hearing more about the type of work that you do. And who knows, maybe you can send us a copy when we do a little bit of a giveaway on the show, just to promote, the book. Of course, that will depend on your decision. But thank you so much.
No, definitely I'll send you a copy. No problem. Thank you so much. I'm really honored to be on your show and this. And
Aha.
may God bless you.
Great stuff. Thank you. Current Mama, the author of The Masturbating Church. She's also a ghostwriter. You want to get in touch with her. It's 076 609 0427. She'll be happy to actually connect with you. You can follow her on Facebook, on Instagram, and connect with her on TikTok as well. She's going to be definitely happy to get in touch with you. 8 minutes before we reach the hour of 11, it's time for the big question.